Hey, peace, y'all. We are back. The Husband Club, round two.
Yes, sir.
Oh, we got dispense, Grease, SO. We got a transplant up in here. You know what I'm saying?
It's still Vegas. It's still Vegas.
Hey, I heard that, man. They got the homie Dante in here.
What's up?
With an A though. You know what I mean? With an A.
Yeah, the real spelling.
Right. The real.
With that. Oh, I don't know what that is.
Hey man, let's get right to it. We was talking about finances last week.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What direction in marriage did you guys decide to go when it came to getting married?
As far as
Wedding, courthouse, or the actual bam bam bam, the big dog?
when we got engaged, it was the big dog was the plan. But like I said, me and my wife story is a little unique. We've been together since high school.
Yeah.
So, when I got ready to leave for college is when I actually got engaged. Because I'm just like, hey man, let me give her a promise ring, show her that I'm for real. Because we had been together for like 4 years then. Going to high school. So after a while, we just started grinding, man. So me and my boys, we the plan was the big one, but we ended up doing the courthouse one, and it was real quick. But it was impromptu, man. We were just chilling in the studio. Shout out to my brother Styles. He had challenged us like, hey man, you ain't gonna go get married, because we had been engaged for a while. Had kids, all this other stuff. So we're just like, yeah, man, let me go ahead and do it. So we boogie down there. Shout out to Charles Tatum. He helped us get to the courthouse and. Did that, and then went across the street for the little drive-through thing. But it was just like a little quick chapel, but it was all our friends was there. So it was real cool, man. We busted them all, got the rings, and it was real simple, man.
Okay.
Man, I was kind of similar. We planned to do the big. Matter of fact, we put $1,000 down deposit on the venue, and then I'm a believer. I was real religious at one point, so. Pastor's like, yo, y'all you can't be shacking, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And it was one day after church, he's like, y'all want to get married today? We was like, yeah.
That religious peer pressure, man.
And I got more of that, but that's how we got married, you know, but thank God we still married today.
Yeah.
But definitely it was impromptu like you, like we just made it happen.
Yeah. And so?
We did the marriage thing. We did the whole wedding ceremony.
Okay.
And the reason being is, like Grayson was saying, like a lot of our friends was going to the courthouse getting married. And I was real big on, while we still walking the earth, I want to have this moment and share with everybody that I love and care about that's close to me. So we put it together. It was about 100 people. 90 of them was all her people, and 10 was mine.
Sound right.
Man, but we did it at the Eastside Cannery, rest in peace.
Oh, wow.
They have a lounge called the 1-6 Lounge.
Yeah.
I went there with a corporate Christmas party, and it's like low-key, it was popping. So when I said on the flyers, Eastside Cannery, I know everybody was like, ugh, Eastside Cannery, getting married on Boulder Highway? Ugh.
Hey.
But then when they got there and they seen it, they were like, oh, it's different.
I was a groomsman.
Yeah, he was my groomsman. Yeah. He would say the same thing, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But besides the cameraman, the person, the videographer and the photographer flaked out the day before.
Wow.
So the last minute, one of my groomsmen, his father-in-law was a photographer, older cat, so he kind of took the pictures for us. But I ain't had the video like we wanted. Like it was done nice, but it's an experience, man. I was always told you don't spend your money on two things: experiences or items. So
That's facts.
Hey,
Damn. Okay, come with it. Come with
The
it.
wisdom. That's it.
Yeah, I went straight to the courthouse, man.
Right.
But I was intoxicated. So,
I think I was too.
Man, I
know I was.
Ooh, I was intoxicated. I remember going to get the wedding certificate, but I was like, man, I gotta sit down. I ain't gonna make it. I was like, I gotta sit down, man. I ain't gonna make it. We was the last ones in there.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I remember thinking like, man, I gotta sit down, man. I'm not gonna make it. And I remember us driving it. I to this day don't know where this place is at. but we went in there. And I remember, dude giving us, we doing the vows and the I do's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be I do. This is how fucked up I am. This is how drunk I am. So it's supposed to be I do, but the way he like switched the words up, I'm used to the vow. I'm used to the
movie stuff.
Yeah, kind of sort of.
Yeah.
But the way he was saying it, it was like, am I supposed to say I do to this? So I'm sitting there like stuck. Like, so I had to ask. I was like, I do. And my wife was like, yeah. I was like, oh, I do it. And I was it. But man, it was a cool. It was a cool experience, man. Maybe because I was intoxicated.
What was you drinking?
Whoo, I was on.
Casamigos.
No, that wasn't.
That
I
wasn't
think
bad.
I was like Apple Crown that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was off that dark.
Yeah, I was like, it was because I had actually because I was actually I was podding, I was podcasting, and as I'm talking to the guys about why I wasn't ready to be married at that time.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right, but we talking that shit on the mic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm more so I'm offering a different look on things,
Mhm.
and as I'm doing it, I'm texting her like, let's go do it. And she out kicking it, with her girls at the time. And when it was over with, she pop up at the studio like, let's go. I'm like, oh shit.
Called your bluff.
I said, oh shit. So we went, man. Shout out to Ivan. Ivan took us.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And that was it. From a financial standpoint, I mean, SO just hit me with something crazy. So what I was going to say don't even sound right no more.
What you gonna say?
No, because I'm really not into things that depreciate in value,
I get
so
you.
to speak.
Yeah.
So, weddings bring on a lot of debt,
You think so?
unnecessary debt.
It's a large commitment, man.
When you trying to go
All out. That's the thing too. You got to live within your tax bracket. Like we had a budget of $10,000, like period. But we would save like a year and a half prior.
Yeah.
But I think we went like maybe 11, which still wasn't bad. And then her pops came through in the clutch like a motherfucker. Boy, shout out to the father-in-law,
pops,
man.
yeah.
He came through.
Came through.
Man, so when we got done with the wedding, we wasn't in like no debt. My thing was I'm like Dante, like I'm a real religious person, so we had to talk to the person that was marrying us. We went to his church, and I ain't gonna lie, I had doubts like, man, should I do this? I've been so don't want to get married and all that. So as he talking to us, we answering the questions. I'm just looking around the church. I'm like, there's like a baptismal pulpit right there, huh? He's like, yeah. I'm like, man, these green benches look familiar. Then it hit me. I used to come to Vegas every summer before I moved out here, and my mom was to go to this church.
Yeah.
And she baptized me. So I took that as like a sign of like, man, this is like some full circle shit. Like maybe I am supposed to do this. And I ain't gonna lie, man. I shed a little thug tear. I shed a little thug tear for that, man. I saw it. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm ready. I think I got confirmation of this. This is the way to go.
Yeah.
I think what you saying is real too, because that kind of played a part in why we didn't go through with the wedding.
Mhm.
Because at that moment it was like we trying to figure out where we living at, and we trying to figure out all these different things. And I was like, when I have a wedding, I don't want to think about. I don't want to care if 80 of the 175 don't show up. You know what I'm saying? But at that time, if I invited you and you didn't show up, I was gonna be hot. I just spent all this money.
Yeah.
$50 a plate or some more shit.
Fact.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when I get married or when I do that, I don't want to have to think about no type of expenses or whatever. None of that. So I'm glad that we made this decision. Yeah, we took a L with 1,000, but it was better than the 10 that we was gonna pay. And then you frustrated, and now your day is not how you want it to be because you thinking about money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we plan to do our 10-year vow renewal. We're gonna do it
I was
up.
just about to ask that.
Whoever show up,
yeah.
show up. If not, we having a good time, and that's what we doing.
So that's where me and my wife at. We've been married 11, but we in that space where during our 10-year was COVID, so we couldn't really do nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we're also in that weird place where we're figuring out life, where we like, are we gonna buy a house now? Like, because now you got to figure out, like, do we want to go spend this 10 over here, or can we take this 10 and do something else with? I'm always to something else with,
right.
But I do understand, like, when me and my wife talk, I do want to give her that experience of actually going through a wedding. You know, for me, I'm already in it, married. Like, when I was younger, I didn't see my parents get married. But I seen what a marriage was. So it wasn't like they didn't get no vow renewals. They didn't do none of that. But I seen how solid, like SO said, my parents still are married today. So I seen how solid it was. So it was, it was just like, well, I know they married. You know, I see what a marriage is, but I do want to give my wife that experience of actually going through that whole process. And I'm just like Dante, bro. If whoever show up.
Yeah.
Because it gets to a point. You get to the point where you stress about the bread, then you shouldn't be doing it at all. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think overall it's a good experience though.
did you ever like change your mind? Because like at first I was like, it's all about the wife, but now I'm like, you know what?
It is.
You know, I'm a movie watcher, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when I see the dude standing there with that woman coming in the white, I'm like, you know what? Shoot, I kind of want that too.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
then you see like in the
yeah.
social media area, like now the husbands is coming out with their own little song.
Yeah.
Like I told him I'm coming out with a game day song. Like I'm hoping, like I want to do that. Like
Yeah.
so, it kind of
I
switched
did.
for me. I
Yeah,
wanna,
shout out to Skinny, man. We his brother got married not
To
long
One
ago.
Blood, wasn't it?
It came out to One Blood.
Yeah, they came out the One Blood. That's
Shit, it's
hard.
about us too. You know what I mean?
Hey, you gotta do it. Hey, no, for real, because when shout out to my partner Tim Day. First, like when I went to his wedding, he had us walking out to just straight hip hop. I'm like, yo, what's
Yeah.
we had on kicks, and it was a whole different
Yeah,
experience,
right.
man. I was just like, yeah, I gotta do this, man, because just seeing like Get Fly and then being a part of SO wedding as a groomsman. And just being a scene and just like, okay, he coming out. What you come out to?
To I Choose You.
I Choose You. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
So I was up there. I wanted to start dancing. He walked out all cool. We trying to pimp it. You know, I'm like, hey. So I do want to experience that as well too, because I just know like it's an experience, man.
Facts.
So yeah, I'm down too for that, man.
Yeah, weddings are boring, man.
It's the reception. We worry about the reception. We don't really care about the little wedding part of it. So
So-
got married in the backyard. We just want to party.
Yeah, that's dope. People are, like remixing it and making it
Got to,
their
bro.
experience, man. 'Cause
Experience.
the weddings in a traditional sense. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Where the food at?
Dude, fast.
Food
And you know you're gonna get
The
chicken.
food better be good. Like
Oh nah! If they come out in the what's the silver joints when they had to open the lid, I know it's gonna be trash.
Right.
So are they? Well, shoot. I said 5 years. Me and wifey and I gonna do something. Gonna do something. You know what I mean, to celebrate what we've accomplished in our marriage. Are wedding renewals important to you guys?
Hell yeah. It's
boy.
renegotiating of the contract.
Man, what? Yes, and we all need it. That contract changed. We got to amend some stuff. Yeah. Yes.
I ain't never think about that, man.
But this ain't the same woman I married
Right,
9
exactly.
years ago.
True.
This is
We got a whole
fact.
like I bet if we wrote vows then and now, they'd be two totally different things.
Yeah, that's true.
So how do you keep evolving in that sense? Because you guys are changing together together. So how do you keep evolving as a couple?
That's a good question.
When as you guys are venturing more into your lives together.
Honestly, bro, like what I'm learning, like God is a big source for me.
True.
Because the things that I think I like and the thing that I think I want may not be what I need. So it's like, and on top of that, I didn't know myself as well as I thought I did going into marriage either.
Preach.
So I don't know me, I don't know her, and then this woman is changing to something that I wanted something different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta go right to the source, and then divorce is not an option. So we gotta ride it out, like the rough patches. It honestly, it happens by nature. If you able to get out of yourself and follow what it is that's going on in your relationship, because what I'm learning in this relationship, you die to yourself like a lot. Like my wants, my things, those things, like yeah, they're cool, but now it's our wants and our needs.
Right.
Like you gotta really like look in the mirror every day, and that's how I learned. Like in the mirror.
You feel
I
like
don't
you
like what I see.
feel like
I don't like what I see. I don't even want to look at myself in this mug, but
you feel like you sacrifice a lot of things that you want just to make the household happy.
I think to a certain extent, yes, and I think really moms do it a little bit more than we do. Like I know in my household a lot. Like my wife would be the wife, be the mom, all this stuff, and then her stuff will be way back there.
Yeah.
And I don't know about y'all, but I know it's me as a dad. Like I got all that, but I'm gonna take care of B. You know what I'm saying? Like so that I could be sane. But I think that it is sacrifice, but I think it's good sacrifice. I think it's when I was single, I can do whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right? And I ain't had no consequences. And if it was a consequence, I can deal with it because it's just me.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
responsible for another mouth to feed.
But a couple of them.
Yeah.
And my wife's point of view and all that too.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, yeah. So you really sacrifice that mind, that mentality that I'm the man. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, true. I've been, like I said, I've been with my wife since high school, so it's a lot of evolving we had to learn together, So just as a man, like I said, for me to go through, as So has said, the horny stage, growing
Get the
up,
heart your sister, man.
and you got to, but just get to that point too. When I finally got married, though, and like I said, coming from a only boy standpoint, I was selfish as hell, bro. So a lot of it was always on my time, not knowing, those type of things. But then once, I went through the fire, went through, just trials and tribulations, just as a man going through stuff, just then I went to church. And that's what really brought me over to like really understanding what a marriage was, because then I had to understand that it's not about me, your needs and your wants and stuff, you got to put to the back. And then that's when I started really looking at my wife and saying like, same thing, like she putting up so much, I ain't doing what she doing, because I'm just seeing all the sacrifices she making. And that's why I was just saying last podcast, like, hey, I'm trying to learn how to build her dreams up, let her dream a little bit more, because they don't dream like us, because they're so worried about the, nurturing the kids and all those things. We out moving and grooving, like at the gym, and they really worry, taking care of the kids and stuff.
Right.
So it's a lot of, it's really like you said, just putting yourself to the back, looking in the mirror and saying like, okay, it's about her and it's about my kids, it's about my family, it's about my marriage. I'm here. I'll be the example as the head of the household of what to do. But, I got to be involved, engaged with everything that's going on. My hands got to be touching everything that's going on in the house. That's just how I feel comfortable knowing that stuff is going right. So.
Right.
That's all.
I'm selfish. I'm an only child and I got no kids. So I've been selfish. My wife, she's her mom's only child. She got brothers and siblings on her dad's side. So it's kind of like, we ain't got no kids. I'm only child. I want it. What else I'm going to spend this money on? And it don't be a lot because granted, I'm a bad spender, but, just getting it, get it. That's why I be buying a whole bunch of unnecessary stuff I don't need.
Yeah.
But if I had kids, I would have to let go of that type of mentality and do for my kids because, and even with her, like, I used to have a strong motto, like, if I got to feed it, I don't want it. That go for pets, kids, girl, everything. I had a strong motto on that. If I got to feed it, I don't want it.
Yeah.
But over time, you evolve and you be like, you know what? It's me and her. We're going to rock out. We're going to rock this thing out. And just me and her no matter what. So, if she wants something, I do it. I don't even contest anything that she want to get. I just let her get it. And it don't bother me.
Yeah. Man, we've been together a decade. Almost. Yeah. We're on the tip of a decade. So she's been with me since I was 24. She was 27 when we met. I mean, I would say we both done a bunch of evolving. We both been through a bunch of things together and as individuals. And it can be really tough. It can be really tough sometimes, especially when we talk about evolving. We always talk about the good parts.
That's true.
And some of that shit you be like, man, growing to something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? But as long as we, as long as we are growing and changing together, those are little things. You know what I mean? Those are small things compared to what we could be going through.
Right.
And we just fight through those growing pains and we come out on the other side together. That's really how I look at it. I can I won't say I'm selfish, but I am goal oriented. And I love my children to death. But that's not all I am.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
And that's the whole I refuse to fall in. I'm not just a dad.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll be rolling in my own grave if things ended and that was all I was known as.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an individual, I'm still very, very goal oriented. So me and her, we do bump heads when it comes to that because, like you said, man, as a mother, nurturing, getting the kids together, things like that, they do put that all the way to the forefront.
Man, What?
And as kids, we were all kids before.
Yeah.
You know, take advantage of that. You know what I mean? So trying to get her to see that, and we're still young. We gotta go. We gotta do some living, and as well as parenting. That's what we can bump heads at. So it's a very, very thin line.
I think it's a wife thing, bro. Because I be trying to me and a wife. I'm like, hey, let's go. We can go. No, we gotta take the kid. Like, bro, like
they ain't gotta
go.
Right.
We work for this.
Yeah.
But it's like fine line. They always want to, let's go. We go to this place. No, the kids got to go too. Like, hold on, man.
Yeah.
We just paid X amount of dollars for Legend to play. And this but that's how I be going though. So that's why I said they put that pressure on you financially, man. Like that'd be the biggest thing to me, man, in that marriage, bro. I think that's a lot of times what people bump heads on is the financial decisions, bro. Like SO said, it's the items over the experiences.
Yeah, it's gonna spend money on two things.
And what do you feel like is an item, and what do you feel like is an experience?
Yeah.
Because hey, my parents, my OG, my dad told me, man, college will always be there. So you can always go to college. Hawaii ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But we only gonna be in our 30s this one time. So we can take our kids anytime, that type of stuff. But it'd be always that. I just feel like that financial, man, financial be the
That's
biggest.
when my parents divorced. It was the money.
Money.
Dad was shelling out money wasn't enough. My mom needed this. And she was like, I'm going to Vegas. You can come with me or you could stay here. He stayed. She was like, yeah, I'm taking Sean with me, and we ain't gonna never see him again. He got mad, lawyered up, boom, divorced her. She had to keep flying back to the court dates. That kept breaking her pocket. She wasn't making money like that.
Yeah.
So then he won the custody battle. She had weekend visits. So because of the distance, they just agreed I'll come to Vegas in the summer and live in Alabama during the school year. But it was the money thing. He kept saying all the money he was doing, he was working a part-time job, full-time job, stealing on the side. She was getting all of it. And she just always needed money for something. And as I got older, I kind of see what he was saying, but at the same time, I'm looking at him like, man, y'all should have never got married because both of y'all got y'all issues. Too bad. I'm here now.
Yeah. As I get older, I've become a firm believer. Like, I don't. Maybe it's from all of the heartbreak that we've been through, the hurt that we've been through, the becoming adults. But I'm of that age, man, where I feel like, man, I don't think true love needs to be tested.
I agree.
For it to be true love, why we can't just have something? Why can't it just be good? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't know, bro.
my boy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, have you been through something?
What? I think that, and I attribute this not just in your relationship with your spouse. This is friends too.
Yeah,
like you don't really know what you have until it's in the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like my wife and I, the first 4 years, like we barely had arguments, none of that. But we didn't realize that we had some issues. You know what I'm saying? And like our test really, like when we left here, like a lot of people see the things that God is doing, but they don't know. Like our first year, we made $5,000 in Atlanta total.
Wow.
2 kids. Like imagine that weight as a man. Like I couldn't work.
Yeah.
When I tell you I was applying everywhere, Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a job nowhere. I couldn't do Uber.
Snow on the bluff.
I couldn't do nothing, bruh. And $5,000. And we were honestly the most at peace ever. Make that make sense.
You know what? I get that.
Make that make sense.
Like when I had little to no money, I seemed more calm. I could sleep better.
Man.
It seemed like it was less stress.
And
There's something to that.
And then we were brought together. Like, you know what I'm saying? In Vegas, we was making about 100,000 between both of us. You know what I'm saying? But I was more in debt here than I was with $5,000.
Right.
Like, so that brought us together, amongst other things that, God began to really show, like, yo, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Infidelity, we dealt with that. Like, that's me.
That was me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, now God's like, bring it to the fore. We got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, my relationship now is better now than it was when we first got together. And the stuff we went through, boy, what? Yes. I think true love has to be tested.
Yeah. I was going to jump.
That's the proof.
Piggyback right off. Like
That's
I
the
said,
proof.
I was the same. Like I said, I got tested. And that's when I really seen like, okay, like I said, being infidel, like, hey. And then once you see like what you can lose, then you can see you can really appreciate
the risk reward factor.
And then I had to go through, and then it also changed how I moved as a man as well. Because I know when I was out there just entertaining, other women and stuff like that, I was moving a certain way.
You knew your limitations.
But once I got to a point where I got to be 100% truthful, able to leave my phone around, kids can go on my phone, social media is good. Like I don't have no worries, like I'm really at peace.
Yeah.
Because I know like I'm not doing nothing. I can leave my phone at the crib. Like, usually you be trying to push back like man.
right.
You just never know. But once I got tested, and that's why I said God brought me through that fire, because he showed me like this is what you can lose. If you think you want to be like these people out in the streets and doing this, and this, you're gonna lose this over here. And that was the whole foundation that I've been working. And I've been with my wife since '97. So I'm talking about this is almost 20 years. Like we've been cool. We've been cool. Yeah, high school.
Right.
So we've been cool
Working.
We got a little stuff breaking up here and there and stuff. And that's why we were saying, like, when she's single, I'm single. It's hard to get back together and hear about what they do in the streets. Because you're like, dang. But that's the part of being in a relationship.
How do you overcome that?
It's hard, man. It's hard, bro. Because like I said, I've been with my wife since high school. So every mistake that either one of us perceive that we made or hurt each other with, we gotta consistently deal with it. It ain't like I don't know your past before you got to me.
Yeah.
Nah, like the way we was set up, she was a virgin when we first got together. So it was just, I'm sorry, baby. You ain't used to. I mean, it was, but it was just one of them type of, one of those type of parties though. Where that's me. So then when you had that, like we was talking, man, off air, man, when you had those situations that make you feel insecure because like another person was there. It's hard to get past all that. But then again, you got to live in the moment too and understand. I always tell myself this: if it was that fly or he was that good or whatever, that's where she'd be at.
Yep.
Because there's a reason why people stay where they at. Because they be happy. So that's why I always tell myself, like, hey, I know I'm the one for her. Prior to all the other stuff we went through as young kids, but I just know, like, after we went through what we went through, yeah, man. Like, you ain't going nowhere. We here. We locked in. Because that test that I went through, man, I seen it.
It's hard. Hey, man, it's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard to get over, man. And then maybe I don't know if it's a possessive thing or you know what I mean. It don't even got to get to the
It's possessive. That's mine, bro.
Boom, boom, boom. But it's just to know that
they spent that time.
I think like we said before, like it's what I've learned too in marriage is grace. Like giving grace because your mistake might be infidelity. You know what I'm saying? Hers might be something else.
Yeah.
But if we can, like God does, all sin is the same. Like it's on the same level with Him.
Yeah.
Society just puts certain
Different
things
worldly.
above. Oh yeah, you killed somebody. No, it's the same in His eyes, right? So when it comes to marriage, give each other grace because there's going to be a time when I need to forgive you or vice versa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think for what SO was asking, like how you get through it, persistence, bro. Because we talk about infidelity normally on the opposite end. Like most people always talk about the one that did the offender.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we feel bad for the one that did all that. But nobody knows really what the offendee is going through, right? Like nobody talks about like when you are the one that does it. Like the times, like I don't want to do it. Like I don't I'm hurt. It's voids I'm trying to fill, and you don't know how to fill them, and so you like, oh, this feels good for the moment. Let me roll with this. Like we don't talk about that. So being able to get to a point where, all right, babe, look, this is why, this is where I'm feeling, this is what I'm at. Like you know what I'm saying?
Let me interrupt. So you think it was communication? Was that the biggest thing? Talking to like learning each other.
I think that I can't communicate what I don't know about myself. So I think it starts way before that, big dog.
Damn.
Like it's like, bro, I can't tell you that I'm hurting and that I don't feel worthy of myself. So I look to another woman to validate that. I can't tell you that until I experience it. Until God pulled the covers. Like, yeah,
that's where I was at. Bro.
This is in me. Like you need to feel validated in me, not some other female, not basketball, not your kids, not your wife, me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
With you.
And how do you get to that point until he pulled the covers? Like, And like I'm cold. Like when I tell y'all, like people, like boy, I was the sneakiest kid. Like I don't get caught. Like I got a secret. Like people tell me stuff, I will never bring it up. Like because I forget. So like when I was doing my stuff, I was like, yeah, this is going to the grave.
Yeah.
Then God like tell her.
And you told her?
What?
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Now let me ask you this.
I did.
When the infidelity happened and y'all get back together, was there a moment where both of y'all would argue and they bring up the old shit?
I think that's a part of that like healing phase. But honestly, like man, when I tell y'all like God is so cold. I know I bring up God a lot, but bro, he's like there's no way I can explain. Like he's so cold. Like he tell me to tell her.
Mm-hmm.
Like we didn't talk for that first day.
Mm-hmm. After you told her?
Yeah, after I told her. But we didn't break up, none of that. We like I'm saying, we still in Atlanta. Like we live in like in this small confined space. But he's so tight. Like the day he did it, my daughter was like, Daddy, sleep with me. They don't know nothing that's going on. They was at school when I told her. Y'all, can you sleep with me today? Mm-hmm. So I was gonna be sleeping there anyway. They don't know. Right. But so now it looked like on the kids, nothing's wrong. Daddy just sleeping with us. Mm-hmm. So she asked me for tutor. The next day, I was like, God, look, you told me to tell my wife, so you got to do something. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not eating for 30 days till you talk to her. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The next day, she went to like a doctor's appointment. The nurse was like, whatever you're going through, trust God. She went to her job, a friend, random. Mm-hmm. Whatever you're going through, trust God. It was like 3 people in the same day that told her to trust him. And then she came to me and was like, I don't know why I'm doing this, but God told me to give you a hug.
That's dope.
That's
dope.
And it's like that. So that was the last day that we slept apart. Mm-hmm. And then we like reconciled and God said, name the baby Faith. I don't want no more kids.
Yeah.
We done. But Tyler was 12 at the time. Zaria was about 7. I'm like, they almost out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But God said another one was coming. Mm-hmm. So when I tell y'all like leaving is just all obedience with God. I don't want no kids, but because you said it, cool. Mm-hmm. My daughter came. My wife was pregnant the next month. Mm-hmm. Baby Faith, who's here now too. You know what I'm saying?
Dope.
So
that's dope.
That helped, in the process, but in the midst of that, what you learn is like even though what I did to my wife, she learned that there were some things that she had to work on, deal with herself too.
Yeah. Was you worried about the get backs?
Honestly, no. I wasn't worried about none. I wasn't worried about in that moment because it wasn't me. Look, let me tell you right now, I would have never told my wife.
Yeah. Right.
If God didn't tell me to do it, I would have never said a thing. Mm-hmm. Right. So it wasn't me. So I had to trust him to the fullest. So when I gave it to him, it was like a oop. Man, now you finished the bucket. I ain't got nothing to do with none of that.
Yeah. See, I got caught up. So it wasn't nothing like that. It was just moving and grooving. And then I start to understand too, the time that I was spending just outside of just my marriage. Yeah. And then you just start seeing people catch emotions. Yeah. And they start to see the great qualities in you, and then they want to take her position. Now that's what's going on with me. Like, okay, well, and that was like the biggest thing that I was saying that's why I asked was communication, because after being with my wife for so long, it becomes like second nature where you don't even compliment or right. And that's kind of that stage where we at now. Like, we trying to get through, sex not seeming like a job, like we just, I'm trying to keep it spontaneous, because it's a schedule, because you got, when you got kids, it's a certain time you got to do.
Man, look here.
Get them kids, man. They walk in here, they in trouble.
Hey, but yeah, it was the same thing, man. Like you said, God's a cold piece, because I'm the same way. I'm the only boy. I'm going to the grave. Like I'm from the streets. Yeah. You don't tell. I don't snitch on myself. So unless the other party say something, I'm never gonna get in trouble. And they wasn't saying nothing, but like you said, I'm out here just thought I was doing and thought I wanted a different lifestyle. Right. And God was like, okay. Yeah. Told you it was crazy, because when it happened, just like it happened, it was just like God became more like in my life. She was going to church first. And I was like, man, fuck she going to church, man. Like, you need to be doing, like, this is what my head was at. Like, what is she going to church for? Like, man, fuck church. Like, ain't nobody from church do blah, blah, blah. This is where I was at. Yeah. But she kept going. She kept being consistent and going. And just seeing her just go made me say, you know what, bro? Get out your damn ego. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about you, man. Like, you making this situation about you. You know, like, no, it ain't never been about you. You just wasn't happy with your direction of life you were going in, bro. It had nothing to do with her. And, you know, like he said, I went and looked for validation outside of myself first. You know, even looking for my wife for validation, that doesn't mean nothing because I got to validate myself.
Correct.
Period.
Yeah.
So I was in that space where I'm like, man, I didn't like where I was going. And I started making bad decisions, but God put me back. And then after that, that's when everything started switching. I started reading the Bible, got into when got baptized because I never had got baptized, you know, until that time.
We seen the picture.
Yeah. You know, but then after that, though, I had a better understanding of what to be as far as a father, a husband in the household. Because now everything's shifting. I'm like, well, I got to be this example for my daughters. Because I don't want them to go get some man in the streets that's going to do this, like, you know, and then my son, I can't raise him to be this way because I remember how reckless I was. And it's just like you said, if we can stop that generational curse.
That's hard, man. I've been going through that lately, man, with my son, man, and talking to him, and it's like, man, you looking at a mirror, man. You know what I mean? How do you talk yourself? It's like you talking to yourself and telling yourself to do differently, man.
Ain't it crazy?
It's a mind fuck for real, man. But I got baptized when I was little, man. We ain't do that water no justice though. I have my trucks on and everything. I thought I was going.
Y'all only got baptized one time? I got baptized 3 times.
I think I did.
I don't know why.
Twice.
Did you twice? Okay, so it ain't just me.
I think it's important because when we was kids, did you really like you
I was
said you had
ready
your
to
trunks
swim.
on?
I was ready to
like,
swim. I thought I was ready.
Yeah.
And it was just. Like,
So will you do it again?
I don't know.
It's crazy, man, how when we grow up, bro, like when my parents was growing up, church was so big.
That was their social club.
likewise.
That was their social
Every
network.
Sunday, bro. Like as a kid, I used to get tired of going to
Sunday,
church, bro.
Tuesday, Thursday.
Man, you know how it was.
Yeah.
St. Paul, Second
Yeah,
Paul.
Church of God
bro.
Christ.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Yep.
It was religiously
Long service.
every Sunday, but it was different, man. That's why I was just like, when I talked to my dad, man, I actually got a chance to work with my dad at the test site doing security. And it was the first time in my life, my dad been gone, that I just got to talk to him. Yeah. And he was just like, man, like, you know, son, like, man, and this is him, like, this ain't father to son. This like husband to like, hey, man, I'm tired, man. I'm up here working all these hours and I'm doing this and this. And I'm like, Pops, I feel you, bro, because I'm on the same thing. You know, and it just to have that coming wave, you know, just that understanding of like, man, like you still going through this, Pops, and you in your 50s, bro, with your wife, man. And it was crazy to hear because, you know, that's my mom. But when we talk, you know, he give me that game as a father, but as a husband, like, you know, how to move and do these things. And, you know, he's a very faithful person. And that, like I said, that's where the foundation of where I had came from. They came from church. Yeah. We got lost. We didn't go to church. And I think that's what also got us away from doing what we had to do. Because now, like I said, is my wife is going through, she's healing. Because now she's in a point where she's trying to get through and trying to figure out what she wants for herself. She's in a point where now we're like, she's seeking therapy, but she came to me, hey, we got to pray every night.
That's good.
All right, bro. We got to pray every morning. So every night before she go to bed, pray.
The thing is, God, I think, be talking to us, but it's up to us to learn the language that God is speaking to us so we can comprehend what's being said to us. And he uses other people and things around us to make us understand what he's saying.
Eliminate them distractions, man.
SOX.
Hey,
look here, man.
Oh, man. No, it's big, bro.
It's them distractions that really keep you clouded, like from hearing God. You know what I'm saying? It can be good distractions. Like the kids are a good distraction. But I still need to hear you, God. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's those things. But, yeah, man.
You know, on my end, man, you know, a lot of people, you know, usually when we speak on infidelity, you know, we talk about the sexual aspect of it. Right. On my end, it was more so emotional. I think we as men, you know, we can carry a lot on our shoulders. Right. Not that it's fair or not, but we can. And I don't give much grace to those that I love. If I call you my friend or I love you, I don't give much grace to. I think it takes a lot to get within my universe, you know. And once you're there, it's like, you know, man, please don't
mess it up.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to my wife, man, we had a communication thing, and it was hard to continually tell you how I feel when you start taking everything I feel defensively. When it's especially when it's about you. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's a saying like women love to ask and want to know how you feel until it got to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's like I'm bringing this up, and I'm not talking to you to attack you, or just things in life. I'm not telling you these things to attack you. This is how I'm feeling.
Right.
But then when you take what I say as an attack, and then me expressing how I feel to you becomes an argument.
Right.
Gotcha.
Let me interrupt you right quick. Ask a quick question. Your wife, father, there too?
He's there. I mean, I don't know.
I'm just trying to, because with my wife it's the same thing. Like I'm
mine
seeing,
too.
yeah, because
They
I'm
grow
seeing
up
when
with a father in the household.
so when they get
her father wasn't in there.
so when
either.
when a man
on
talks to
lower
them,
scale then.
when a man talks to them, it comes off as aggressive and like they become at times. I mean, it can be irritating, bro. Because I be just trying to talk to my wife and
Right.
just talk to her, communicate. But it's like I'm coming at her a certain way, but then I have to kind of.
They was raised in a household where there was no male figure.
Where the male figure.
I
would
never
say
really
on the
thought about that
emotional
too, though. But that's
scale,
real.
Then that'll be a nowhere issue.
Yeah, because
That
I
would
was
be
just
on
trying to
my
figure,
scale.
man, because I see it clear as day because a lot of my friends whose father's not there, whether it's male or female,
see a difference.
very emotional.
That's
very
true.
emotional
That's real.
people. And they like
that's
and
real.
it's like when you talk to them, like you talking at them and you targeting them,
They
like
get defensive.
they get
Defensive
very
quick.
defensive. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask that question right quick.
But yeah, man, you know what I mean? So it got to a point where it was just like, damn, man, I don't even want to say nothing no more. So then you start unloading on people, other people, emotionally.
Yeah.
And oftentimes that can become worse than sex itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because now
I agree.
you're dealing
I
with
agree.
real
I see that.
emotions, you know what I'm saying? That's where, I'm guilty of. The sexual aspect, I really, but emotionally, yeah. And
That's even worse though, bro.
When-
I think they
absolutely
take
it
it
is.
worse for
Yeah,
sure.
that's worse.
And so-
emotionally.
seeing her like take it how she did was pretty tough. You know what I mean? You don't not from a possessive standpoint, but you don't really want to see you don't really want to, unless you just don't give a fuck about life, period. You don't want to see your life's work go down the drain.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
At family, marriage, I think it takes a lot of balls for somebody to sit back and just let everything just crumble. So that kind of, that hurt me, and we walked through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out to her. We walked through it, man, and I was really telling her how I felt during this period of, I'm getting over this. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get over a situation while still being with your wife is tough.
It's a process.
When it's an emotional
Mm-hmm.
situation. You know what I mean? But we got through it, man, and I feel like from that point, we're pretty strong. You know what I mean? We're pretty strong. But as life have it, we got habits.
Right.
And sometimes when what's the word? I want to say it's similar to jump shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put up a whole bunch of jump shots. We call it repetition.
Fact.
When something is off, everything is off, and it's hard for me to get back to
The rhythm.
Yeah.
exactly. So
Muscle memory.
sometimes when we going through stuff, I go all the way back, and you go back and you kind of like unwinding everything that you was fixing already.
Right.
And so that's where I'm at now. But I'm way better at it. Like I said, man, I didn't have a blueprint to this. You know what I mean? And it is dope today because my mom and dad are the ones. They hit me up today like, son, man, we so proud of you and all that, because it's like in hindsight, I've kind of become the example.
Right.
But it's hard, man, when you don't really have one, and then marriage in my eyes is just a little different from everybody else's, man. I've tried to talk to men, outside of you fellas and what we got going on. I've tried to talk to men, and in most marriages I've seen today, it's a more possessive thing. It's my way or the highway, man. And that really ain't never been my get down. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't.
Yeah. But I think too, man,
Look at that.
No, at that point, you.
but see too, like I think
I want a
too,
benevolent dictatorship.
like, when I talk to my single friends, you know, like when we all do, shout out to my brother Flipper.
Yeah.
He out in Joplin. Listen to us today.
Shout out.
So he's single. He's looking at getting into he's looking at marriage like that's something I want. You know, and you have your friends who just want to be on some playery stuff. You're not gonna be able to reach them, but the ones that you can reach, just talk to them.
Yeah.
Right.
And and that's kind of what I look at it. And I was gonna ask you too, man. Like when you go through what you go through, what was the lesson? See, if you never catch the lesson with the emotional part of it, you always gonna go through it. When I was going through what I was going through, I had to really break it down and say, bro, what's going on?
The root.
Like, what's the root? What's the root of all of this?
It.
And then I had to really like break it all the way down to when when I was a kid, when I was around,
There it is.
early triggers, what was motivating me to do these things. Of course, hanging out with my friends, but I and it's a whole nother subject, but I had pinpointed it to running across porn early as a kid, bro. It's crazy, man, because you get it's the experience. You get exposed to a lot of different things, bro.
Spice Channel.
Yeah, and you take that on with you throughout life. But then, like you said, the musical influences. You start hearing about, this artist rapping about this, and this, and you thinking that that's what it is. But in your household, you're not seeing that. In my household, my mom and dad it wasn't nothing popping off, no orgies and threesomes and none of that popping off. This is just a marriage. But what we see on TV is what we want to have. We want to see and have that. And that's like
it might be something to that.
That's that.
Oh yeah,
Because I watched that porn at an
yeah.
early age and was a horn dog trying to cut everything under the sun.
Man, what I learned. Oh, go ahead.
No, you good. You good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying what I learned is that we and it's normal for society like men to get our rocks off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what we didn't realize is that we were creating an appetite. You know what I'm saying? And then now I find a woman in my life. Where you think the appetite go? It just goes away? No, you suppress it for a little bit, then all of a sudden you get hungry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like all the things that shaped us as a child, like you said, getting exposed to porn, you know what I'm saying? Different things. Listen to my homeboy, what they was talking about and all this different stuff. You don't realize that when you become an adult, you gonna reap that some way, shape, or form.
You looking for it.
You some way, shape, or form.
That's real talk.
But what you said, Tay, is like that's we didn't have a blueprint for marriage.
We don't. We learned it on the fly.
Like, bro, I wish that the generation before us was like, yeah, we have the 30 years, but we went through X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I wish I would have known that when I got in. And that's why my wife and I started our podcast, because we want people who want to get married understand.
Right.
You know, you if you ain't get your stuff together with you, it's gonna come out in your marriage for sure.
Fact.
It's gonna come out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then y'all got to deal with it. Or do we do like everybody say, oh, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
This ain't the man or woman. I'm gone. And you still gonna deal with the same stuff when you go to the next partner.
See, I was telling the guys I was telling the guys last week, man, you know what I mean? I had an out problem.
What you mean?
Always have an out. Right? I was raised to always have an out. And when I got married, I felt like I was stuck.
Oh shoot.
So I started acting out. And I think when I realized, like, damn, I was really fucking up, you know what I mean? It's when, there's one thing to be married. There's one thing to be married, but to embrace it is another.
Yeah.
That's a word, bro.
And when I started, like, okay, this is my wife, this is my family, and this is how, this is what I'm going to do to try to make the situation better. It's when our relationship started getting better.
That's good.
But fuck, man.
Got to be ready,
That
man.
embraces, boy. That's
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
That's different.
It's hard. It's hard, man, and especially when you start doing it, we become so comfortable,
Right.
and then we stop realizing what it was that made us fall in love with this person in the first place,
Right.
and we start walking away towards that. And I ain't trying to be no victim to no statistics, man.
Man, for real.
I'm with Tay, man. I feel like divorce isn't an option.
It's not.
It
My,
ain't.
my parents still married, so everything that we went through, I always told myself like, "Hey, we ain't nothing gonna happen." It was times where, even when she said she was going, "Hey, you're not going nowhere. We took vows. We gonna do this. We gonna make it work." But
Right.
I think the biggest thing to us as men is like when you learn to let the ego go,
Man.
and you
It's
learn to,
ego,
like you said,
right.
you learn to let your ego go, and you stop making it about you, and you start understanding like, okay, but personally, I do got to be happy. And that was one thing that my wife had said to me that just shook my world at one time. She was like, you are a part of my happiness. You are not the reason that I'm happy.
Oh, yes, sir.
But man, blew me
Yes,
away
sir.
because I was living my life to try to make her happy.
Mhm.
Like when I see her mad or have an attitude, it hit me. Like, dang, man,
Yeah.
what am I doing? And then that led up to a lot of the
That's facts,
bumping
bro.
of the heads.
You
and
own
stuff.
it. You own it, big
Because
dog.
I'm seeing like, bro, like she get up in the morning. I'm like, damn, man, we just went to bed, bro.
You just woke up like, that's the second I be.
Like, God, like, you know, now I'm on it. That's why I said the mood thing. We set the mood. We set the temperature for the morning.
Fact.
We set
That's
it.
good, bro.
You know, because I gotta ignore that. She, you know, but then I start to ask these questions like, why is she getting up like this? You know, I'm not getting up like this. I'm happy with the direction I'm going in my life. You know, and that's when like I said, that's when we start talking to communicate more to say, hey, what do you want in life? You know, I'm chasing my dream right now. Like even here, I'm here with my brothers. We talking, chasing a dream right now. You know, what can how can I help you?
That's it. And that's what we got to do as men. Like from the wives, the kids, like it's our job to lead by example with what it is. But our marriage, like I tell everybody now, if your marriage don't have a purpose, figure it out. Because the purpose is going to keep you together.
Facts.
And I can't be this business mogul, serial entrepreneur, and then my wife is like stuck. My job is to bring it out of her. Whatever she wants, like bring it out. And then now when my kids see my mom and my dad is doing what they want to do, they ain't gonna have the issues that we had. Like we 30, 35, 36 years old, and we figuring out now, like, yeah, we gotta do it. No, I want my kids to know that 18.
Right.
I'm owning this business now. Like that's the goal.
Yeah, totally different.
Like,
so what's some tips that you actually use to bring that out of your wife as far as like finding out what she want to do?
Really, man, like intention. Like we talk about communication, intentional communication, or like just talking because we talk every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Like so we can't just say communicate. Like, all right, babe, what you unhappy with? What makes you unhappy here? Like what? Like we've had talks. Like my wife, we've had because I do a lot of business stuff, and my wife is like, her mind is just as creative as mine, but she felt like she had to take a back seat until my stuff is going. So we got to talk about that now.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, shoot, babe, do I need to sit down? Do I need to not do this so that you can do this? Like those type of conversations.
Real talk.
You know what I'm saying? What do I? And a lot of times they don't know.
Hey.
So you got to keep having the conversation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That goes to say too, and that's why I was going back as well with my wife. She started working at 12, 13 years old. She didn't have opportunity to dream. She's been working for 27 years
Man,
now. You know what I'm
look
saying?
here,
So,
man.
I got to take care of me.
yeah,
you know?
so she's already programmed a certain way.
Yeah.
And so with my parents, it was a little bit different, 2-parent household. I worked only during the summers. When I turned 16, and that was only because I wanted money to buy my own clothes.
That's it.
You know, that was it.
That's it.
Yeah. You ain't buying the clothes that I want. That's the only reason why I went to, but I was able to dream. And that's why I was telling you, like, man, I was able to dream when I was a kid. She was working. So it's kind of hard. That's why I'm asking, like, even with the intentional conversations, man, that's big because I got to do that more. Because I never asked her. I never asked my wife because I think I'd be afraid of the answers like, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? It's what's going on? Is something wrong today here at the house? How can I, what can we do?
Right.
Because you don't ever want to hear what got to be worked on because you already know. You feel like you know.
Right.
But, I'm one of them people, I want the truth, but nah,
Can you handle the truth? Yeah.
Not from her, though. It seemed like.
Yeah. And even with that too, like I started learning to involve my wife, like even with what I had going on too,
Absolutely.
because leading by example. Now, if I involve you in business stuff, you by nature you're gonna become a business woman. You're gonna have the acumen as well. And what I learned too is God may give us a vision, but it's gonna be the wife that's gonna nurture it and make things grow.
That's true.
Talk about
You
it.
know what I'm
That's
saying?
true.
So the more that I'm bringing to her, the more we connecting, the more we having intentional conversation and communication, and the more she is coming out of her as well. So it's like, bro, like when I learned, like y'all said, man, the ego, it don't have to all be me, and understanding that this is a help me, and what really helped me is like when I was in Vegas, bro, when I tell y'all I worked maybe 50, 60 hours a week, you know what I'm saying? I hooped multiple leagues. I played football, multiple leagues.
When you sleep.
Man, I don't sleep. What?
Yeah.
Got me a couple hours of sleep and I'm good.
Yeah.
And now I realize that my wife is at home kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Making the food, make sure like all that stuff. And like I learned that your time is probably the
most
the
valuable
best
thing.
investment you can give your family.
Yeah. Facts.
Like right now, like by God's grace, neither one of us work. Like we full-time entrepreneurs. So
Mhm.
I'm at home all day long. I can go to my kids' track. I can do whatever I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We travel. They all out here now. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We kicking it. Like once I started investing time there and stopped focus on money, stopped focus on all the career goals I had and gave all that to God, He created the time for me to do everything that I need to do anyway.
You know what was big, man? Once you said invest, bro, I remember vividly when everything kind of changed for me and a wife. You know, I know I was so, you know, as homeboys, we be so invested in our friends, bro.
Man.
And I remember I
Yeah.
was invested just in one of my brothers, just trying to get him right. And I said, bro, why am I spending all this time on you?
Mm-hmm.
Let me invest this time into my wife. And that's when I just started doing the same thing that you did. Start taking everything, and then everything shifted. Because I said, okay, I'm in real estate. I can get you off of your job. So you can do what you want to do, you know, and that's where I'm at now, is just trying to create that time for it, because that's all I had wanted when I was working, was to be able to get up, take my kids to school, make them breakfast, pick them up from school, just the normal family stuff. Because I wanted them to have that. I caught the bus. So I'm like, man, I want my parents. I felt proud when my parents came and picked me up from school. Like, man, they care about me, you know, that type of stuff. So just changing the narrative, you know, for our generation too. Because I know with my kids, we have intentional conversations a lot. Because I'm telling them the goals are changed. Oh no, Malaysia, Drea, y'all doing real estate. We going this route. Y'all gonna do this. While you in school, you gonna be making some money. It's just changing. It's changing the program of how everything is going. Even with my son, like, yeah, you can play sports, but you're gonna go into real estate too, because people need somewhere to stay. If I'm learning the game, I'm gonna set you up how to do it. And that's why you said that's the purpose. Now we're moving with a purpose as a family. Now I'm moving to get my wife off the job so we can start getting some assets and different things like that, so we can travel.
Yeah.
I mean, the goal of life is really just to travel to see what God created, bro. Like, money enables that, but you know, the goal is just to see the world with your friend.
Yeah.
You know, and just experience this life. You know, so that's kind of where everything kind of can be at.
Yeah.
Though.
See, when I was coming up, man, you know, I seen so many people. You know, what I did see is I seen so many married men unhappy and didn't want to go home. Didn't want to be around their wives. You know what I mean? Especially at my job now, man. It's disheartening, man, to see so many people like they'll stay out late and playing playing dominoes and all that because they don't want to go home.
Yeah.
So I take pride, man. I take pride in, you know, me and wifey be kicking it, man.
Right.
And that was something that
That's dope.
that was something that I take pride in.
Right.
You know what I mean? I me going out kicking it, man, and you know, my wife at home with the kids, you know, getting dinner prepared and all that. I mean, that's cool, but if I'm outside, she outside. You know what I'm saying? And we outside, and we'll handle everything else together. And I take pride in that, man. So when I'm kicking it, we kicking it. Goal oriented, you know me. I'm her. You know, she know I'm her number one fan, man. When she wants to do something that she loves, you know what I mean. And when she's not pursuing something, she's still with, you know what I mean. She's still with me. She's involved in everything that I'm involved in. There really is no gray area. But that's because I truly enjoy being around my wife.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, a lot of people say, codependency is not good, man. But
Nah, it's good.
It works for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It truly does work for us, man. And
I think there's a certain level of codependency you got to think about. Because I know, like, you had that part where, like, you can't do something without the other person.
yeah.
You know, and then you have it, like, me and my wife, we the same. We just chill. We go hang out. We have our date nights, and, like, we just go hang out and chill. But, like, yeah, if, like, you know, it get to a point, too, and that's another thing. I talk to my mom a lot about marriages, too. With my father. He's very codependent of my mom. You know, and that's just one of those things that's the old, and those older marriages are built like that, bro. Because rest in peace of my grandparents, man. I remember my grandfather, he got in an accident. He was actually paralyzed from his neck down. And my grandma stuck with him until she passed, and he passed a couple years after her. But I don't think, you know, I had a real thought, like, almost get in an accident. I had to sit back and like, will Tamara be here for me?
Yeah.
Because I have a grandfather that's like this. So, and I was like, yeah, she'll be there for me. She'll wipe, do whatever's needed. Because you look at a lot. That's what keep me where I'm at too. Because I don't know if the other person will be this invested into me, man. Because I see my grandpa who was paralyzed for 25 years, bro, and laying down and was taken care of until my grandma passed. And like that kind of love and dedication, I'm like, I see that in my wife, but when I just don't see it, like you said in the other marriages, because it's a lot of divorces. They get divorced over the smallest stuff.
Man, what?
So
It's
like
a social decision, man.
yeah, you talking about you got to take care of a person that got in an accident. They hold
Yeah.
the whole marriage and
Yeah.
still love them, like you said. Like nothing never changed, man. Like it's some crazy examples that you can have, man. Because like with my grandparents, I'm like, man, like my wife do that, I gotta do it. Because I seen my grandma do that. You just can't flake. That you just double down on you stand on your commitment even harder. But I seen people leave, like you said. He made 5,000. I know. I know
My wife would have been.
What man? I know
A lot of women would be like, yeah.
I drove myself.
When I came back from Miami and I didn't have a job. I was chasing music with Weez and we was trying to do it. And man, I flat broke. My wife was just like, nah, it's cool. She giving me bread and stuff. Like I had no money. I'm talking about for like 4 or 5 months. I'm applying for jobs to the point where I said, hey man, I was about to start applying for this restaurant stuff, and I happened to get a job at the Aria. And I said, bro. And then even doing that, she supported me and allowed me to change and do other stuff because she's like, that ain't you. Yeah, it's so crazy how the wives they nurture us and we don't see it.
Yeah.
I've been with my wife since 13, bro. So we talking time.
Yeah.
They know us.
She know me.
We think they don't know us. They know us. I had a big fear of marriage is not working, and I always thought marriage would be a negative thing. By watching Married with Children, I never wanted to be out.
Hey, that show was dope.
It was my favorite show, but he just come home. He was never happy.
Right.
I was complaining. I'm like, man, I don't never want to be married like that. And that's the situation.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest fear. Of like, man, if I get to a point where I can't come home and be happy at home, what's the point I'm doing this for?
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I would have never been who I am today if it wasn't for my wife, man. And I can say that. I can say that with pride, man. Yeah. I'm thankful for that. But man, this was good, man. This was good.
Before you,
Jesus,
man,
this is good.
because that right you just said and what y'all just said, like we need a woman that's going to nurture and push us to our destiny. So can we say something to the women that's looking for husbands out there that think they got to get this husband that's 6 figures and all that? Their power, they don't understand just how powerful it is to be a woman.
Yeah.
Like, what would I be if when I made $5,000, my wife was like, hey, I'm good, I'm gone. Instead, she took care of the kids, still supported me. Like, I didn't have to stress about money, and I could follow what we doing now because she wasn't tripping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I it's hard for me, man, because to this day, man, I don't see what my wife seen in me, man. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I was bottom of the barrel, man. I was tilapia. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, tilapia busted. You seasoned the right bit, dog.
Tilapia.
And she pulled me out, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She pulled me out, and who I am today, man. I give all due to her, man.
Yeah,
man.
But man, it's tough, man.
It's tough.
It's tough out here.
I try to learn myself. Like I said, when I left my job to pursue real estate, it was because of her. She told me to leave. She was like, hey, nah, I got it, blah, blah, blah. We had a plan in place where it took some time, but, she was the one that actually was like, hey, you and it'd be the same, man. That's why I'm trying to learn how to give it back to her because I'm in a position today to sit here, talk with my brothers, do real estate, create this lifestyle based off of the nurturing and the support of her. So I'm not just trying to pour the water back into her. So that's the difficult part, man. That's why when I be seeing you at the ad, like, hey, man, we got to be up here because we got to try to reach the highest version of ourselves in 2023, right? Because we don't know what a husband looks like in 2023 because we still using the metrics off of the 70s and 80s, off our pops and them. And it's a different ball game today because women are empowered. They got better paying jobs. They need more they need more decision-making skills. I mean, not skills, decision-making at the house. We got to give that to them as well. Like,
Absolutely.
That's
hey,
real.
because
Got to bring a balance.
because it's the head of the
Yeah.
household thing too. We got to talk about that, man. Because
Yeah, we run it. Man, it was so much. It was so much that we were supposed to get into, man. But hey,
It's
man, this was
good,
great,
though.
man.
It's good,
This was
man.
great, man. We got more coming, fellas, man. Where can they find you guys at?
Instagram and Twitter. I am S to the O.
Instagram, King D_TAY.
What's the podcast?
Podcast, yeah.
Podcast is the In the Mist podcast.
Yeah, because I'm a twin. I'm
The
gonna tap
In the Mist.
Yeah.
Check it
Gotta
out, man.
follow.
Check it out. Check it out.
Then I'm like I said, Andre Mitchell, your Las Vegas real estate agent. You can call Grease on IG, and then just my personal Grease Balls baby CEO, man.
All right,
Yeah,
man. We're
yeah.
up out of here, man.
Man.
That's it,
Hey, this
man.